where the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Boy, that dog was cute, huh?
Adorable shot right there. I couldn't help but smile when I saw that video there.
Hopefully we're smiling about the weather today, too.
Yeah, smiling for the most part. Yeah, maybe an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon, but much of the area remains dry, which is good. A look outside this morning. It is a pretty pleasant start to your day today. We got still pretty high humidity, but mainly dry weather. Patchy fog across parts of the area, primarily in the southern valleys. Here's a live look in Oneonta, where conditions are still on a slightly damp, but again, dry side. Outside of Hamilton County, right on the fringe of it, heading toward north of the capital region, a few of those isolated downpours. We zoom out, and we can see the risk today. Yes, these storms could fire up this afternoon. They're not widespread. They're basically hit or miss. But if they do form, the fact that these are moving on the slow side means the biggest risk would be heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds, but the biggest concern would be some of those heavier, consistent downpours. Either way, today's high 85 degrees. We are tracking still warmer temperatures ahead, as well as rain and storm chances as we look ahead to the beginning of the weekend. Full forecast in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Lights and sirens haven't been heading.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Time now is 5:10, and as you head out the door this morning, here's what you can expect. Temperature-wise and condition-wise, you take a look outside and still mainly dry conditions. We have fog developing in Oneonta at this time. It's something to closely monitoring how far the fog spreads. For now, it's primarily focused in the southern valleys. Traffic tracker, mainly quiet conditions. The incident along Route 8 is still here on our system, saying the road is closed. Don't have an update for that right now, but again, the road was blocked right north of Bridgewater there along Route 8 yesterday afternoon. So the radar at this time is showcasing a few areas of downpours, especially to our north and east. Here locally, things are starting out on the dry side. But today, after a dry start, we'll see a relatively dry afternoon, but an isolated storm can't be ruled out. We're going to track those storm chances today, tomorrow, and into the weekend for the all-important Boilermaker weekend forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. He can barely walk.
Central New York Brain and Spine Neurosurgery, where Dr. Q cares about you. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Thursday, the heat and humidity are slowly rising over the next few days. With it, of course, some storm chances. Not widespread, but if you lived in Florida, if you've been to Florida in the summertime, you know how that plays out. Downtown Utica, live view outside. It's a dry morning out there early today. The temperatures beginning in the 60s, so it's not too bad. Humidity levels on the humid side, dew point is 63. As you take a look at the radar here, we have just an isolated downpour to our north and east. A lot of activity in the New England area, some thunderstorms near Boston, but here locally in New York State, mainly dry conditions. We head throughout the afternoon, we could see a couple of these very small pockets of cells fire up. With that in mind, today's severe weather risk, level 1 out of 5. So another one of those days where we just have to be rather weather aware. It's not a prime setup for severe weather, but any storms that do form had the potential of turning on the stronger side. Still, the biggest risk with these, if anything, are going to be flooding risks. These will be slow-moving storms. So again, if they do form, these are the risks. It doesn't mean the chances of them forming here, just a heads up. Either way, these chances are isolated, so not everyone sees them this afternoon. So when it comes to humidity, it's humid today, humid tomorrow, and then it really kicks in this weekend. If you're heading outside Saturday or Sunday, you've got tropical levels of humidity expected. It feels definitely like midsummer here in New York State. So we have this broad area of weak low pressure. Look at all these L icons. It means there's no organized structure of a low. It's all just spotty around the northeast, which means that these storms that fire up, they're sporadic, they're disorganized. They begin to organize though as we head into Saturday, and especially on Sunday, with rounds of storms here and rounds of storms out there. But the timing of it, of course, is very important here. So today, dry start, isolated downpour or thunderstorm possible this afternoon. Just make sure you're weather aware this evening. Then by tomorrow morning, again, dry start, sunshine. We warm up into the mid to upper 80s with, again, isolated storm chances. Then an update on Saturday. It starts out dry with some fog in the south. In the afternoon, there could be a few thunderstorms firing up. So it's looking a little more unsettled than previously expected for the start of the weekend. And then, of course, these storms fizzle out. We head into the overnight hours Sunday, and then the all-important Boilermaker forecast, which, again, this is the latest update. We take this day by day here, and still no major changes. Maybe a passing shower in the morning, but any thunderstorm chances look to hold off until well into the afternoon and evening. So beyond the Boilermaker post-race party, which I think is good news for any of you hoping to enjoy some of the many beverages that the Boilermaker has to offer following the race after running in the heat and humidity, because it's going to be a hot one on Sunday.
Ooh, boy. Well, it'll be tough for the runners, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5:20. Still ahead on once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Lubichor. Could our beautiful weather here during Boilermaker Week continue? Meteorologist Eric Gage over in the Weather Center with that answer. Eric?
Yeah, it's going to be a mainly dry day today, mainly dry day for the next few, but there's those chances for isolated thunderstorms, and we'll get to that right here. In fact, look at those temperatures at this time. We're in the 60s with patchy fog developing in parts of the southern valleys. You can see there fog reported in Hamilton early this morning. In fact, you can see it pretty clearly here. Oneonta, it's a foggy start to your day today, especially as you head down into the southern tier. So what can you expect weather-wise this afternoon? I mentioned an isolated downpour, but in between that, we're going to see plenty of opportunity for sunshine. It's not going to be a very bad day today, but just it's one of those days you want to remain weather aware, as a few of these downpours that fire up had the potential of becoming on the stronger side with some wind gusts as well as some heavy sustained rainfall inside some of these isolated downpours, as you can see here, some of them to our north and to our east. So today, a high of 86. It's a very warm, very humid day today. And again, sunshine mixed in with some isolated downpours. We're tracking those rain chances tomorrow and, of course, into the all-important Boilermaker weekend in the minutes ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, global markets are...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Good morning, everybody. Just saw in Cooperstown, those of you in the southern valleys waking up to some areas of fog. It is a damp start this morning, despite, I guess, the difference that it is dry out there. So maybe the limitations of the English language here is something we have to look out for. Dry but damp, I guess. Either way, temperatures out there this morning in the 60s. We are pretty much right around average for a start of the day today. And it feels pretty comfortable out so far. It is still relatively humid out there, so we're not cooling down too much during the overnight hours. And our photo of the day today, speaking of cool weather, well, I guess technically this isn't here. Some spots in New York State with some storms that took place earlier in the week looked like this. And I felt a fitting title for this would be Christmas in July. This is taken by Yvette in Liverpool. And it looks like it's snowing out, but it was hail. Now, this was out in Syracuse area. There were some that were taking place in the Binghamton area. Luckily, we didn't see anything like this here locally, but goes to show you that, I guess, officially, on record, sometimes this does classify as a trace amount of snow in July. So that's a pretty interesting feat there. So I do believe some locations yesterday, or not yesterday, earlier in the week, recorded a trace amount of snow in July. Interesting fact there.
That's wild. Eric, thanks. Nearly 1 million U.S. children.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Plenty of sunshine is expected today, but we have to make sure weather aware this afternoon with potential for a few isolated downpours and thunderstorms. Downtown Utica, live view outside. We can actually see that cloud deck out to the east. It's a pretty interesting sight here. It looks almost like as if there's a wall heading from the buildings of downtown Utica, as you can see right here. Look at that line. That's that cloud deck. And to the west, what we'll be seeing throughout much of the day today is plenty of sunshine. Either way, it's a warm start. Partly cloudy, 64 degrees. Dew point is 63, which is allowing some pockets of the southern valleys, even some locations up north, by the way, to report fog early this morning. And it's still a pretty humid stretch out there, and you head out to the New England coast. Flash flood warnings in effect for some of these slow-moving storms, and that's the biggest risk today. Level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather, so it's not one of those major events to issue alert types of scenarios. But just make sure you're weather aware today for the potential for a storm to fire up, and if it moves over one area, it could sit there for a while, and that's the biggest concern, is that flooding risk. Then some stronger wind gusts and typical severe risks as well. Can't rule them out, but again, this is not one of those days where it's extremely concerning. Still, download the Storm Tracker 2 app by scanning the QR code right below me. It's a great tool to have on days like today where it's sunny, appears that it's storm-free, but the storm risk is still there. Humidity levels remain pretty humid today, tomorrow, and then rise again Saturday and Sunday. It is going to be a very warm and very humid weekend. And with that humidity, of course, we have this broad area of low pressure. All these L icons you can see here indicate the low pressure is weak, but it's scattered, meaning that we have the chances for disorganized clusters of storms to fire up here and there over the next few days. We zoom in here in the Skycast. There's that cloud deck exiting. Yeah, maybe a few puffy cumulus clouds this afternoon, otherwise a lot of sunshine, and still can't rule out those isolated downpours passing over us. Then by Friday, same story. Plenty of sun, highs in the upper 80s, isolated downpours here and there, slow-moving storms. Then Saturday starts out dry. An update to the Saturday forecast. We have the potential for a few storms firing up in the afternoon and evening. And again, these risks here, they're slow-moving, flooding the biggest concern there. And our daily Boilermaker preview update for now, still looking to be a mainly dry start, maybe a passing shower in the morning, but any severe or any storm risk holds off until the mid-afternoon. So your 7-day forecast, we've got 80s on tap the next few days, Gary. It is a warm, it is a humid one, and yes, isolated storm chances today through Saturday, but you still have plenty of opportunity for sunshine. Not too bad of a stretch out there. Just make sure you stay cool and hydrated.
That's for sure, and it looks like low 70s for the start of the race Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's going to be a warm start and a very warm afternoon.
Yeah, that's for sure. Eric, thanks. Well, it's one of the summer's biggest weeks for online
The news with Gary Lipitor and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Lipitor.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And I can't stop thinking about that dog, how happy he looks right now,
I say, just put a smile on my face, just seeing that video there. And little head scratches and looking so happy now, and I'm so glad that there's a full road to recovery for that amazing dog there.
Yeah, nice way to start the morning.
Yes, and the weather today starting out rather nice as well. We begin in the 60s. A look outside, those temperatures across the area pretty warm for this morning. In fact, yes, there's sunshine, still some areas of patchy fog to wake up to today, so it's not entirely sunny. In fact, here's a live look in Oneonta, where it's difficult to see the sky this morning. We got that fog layer currently impacting the view from Hartwick College. So the radar today picking up on some low-lying moisture this morning. However, it is, again, a dry start. We zoom out and we have some downpours, slow-moving downpours out to the east. Why am I mentioning these? These are heading out to the east. They're not hitting us. Well, I want to talk about the characteristics of these here. You got flash flood warnings inside some of these slow-moving storms, and that's the biggest concern today. Yes, It's not widespread. A lot of us are going to go through the entire day rain-free, but if any storm does form, they're going to move on the slow side. They're going to tap into all that humidity in the atmosphere, and there's potential for them to produce a lot of rain in a small area for a short period of time. We'll track those risks as well as the rain chances the next few days coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Lights and sirens haven't been...
The Storm Tracker 2 team, where we track storms.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Time now is 6:10, and we begin with a dry start today. However, as we take a look at the commute cast this morning, there's potential for an isolated downpour or two as we head throughout the afternoon. We'll take a look at some area cameras here this morning. Fog is trying to form right here in the Mohawk Valley, as well as it's already formed in parts of Cooperstown and in Oneonta. Besides that, it's looking rather on the sunny side across much of the area. Traffic tracker looking quiet across the board. The accident that took place along Route 8 yesterday afternoon, still reporting the road closure here. No update on this system here right now, but again, the road was closed yesterday due to that crash both ways along Route 8. So we take a look at the radar right now. Again, it's a dry beginning today. However, this afternoon, when you head home from work, there's a chance of an isolated downpour here and there. Otherwise, expect mainly sunny skies, warm conditions, and temperatures in the mid-80s. We're going to track those rain chances today as well as the next few days coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. He can barely walk, but a 70...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. We are tracking some sunshine moving in today, but although it's going to be sunny, well, it's not going to be entirely dry. Let's take a look at downtown Utica outside right now, where to our east is where that cloud deck is slowly exiting, and a lot more blue skies, as you can see here in the corner of your screen, moving in throughout the day today. That'll cause those temperatures to climb very quickly from the 60s this morning up into the 80s by this afternoon, as well as that humidity also being on the rise. So the radar at this time is starting out rather dry. We zoom out, we've got downpours and thunderstorms out near the Atlantic coast. Why am I pointing that out? Because there are flash flood warnings across some of these storms here, and that indicates the biggest risk for any downpours that develop today. These are slow-moving storms, so if they do fire up, they're going to produce a lot of rain in a small area of central New York. So although the chances of them forming aren't that high, if they do form, these are the risks here. Biggest concern being, of course, that heavy rainfall, maybe some embedded wind gusts if it fires up rather quickly, and the typical severe risk. Still have a way to receive weather alerts. You can download the Storm Tracker 2 app right below me. Humidity sticks around today and tomorrow, and it kicks in full gear Saturday and Sunday. Tropical levels. Going to be a very warm weekend and a very warm start to the Boilermaker. A weak area of low pressure impacting much of the Northeast today, firing up a few showers and even a few thunderstorms, but in between them, opportunities for sunshine. They get a little more organized as we head into Saturday evening as well as heading into Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. So we'll show that right here. So today, sunshine, isolated downpours here and there, temperatures in the 80s. Overnight, maybe a lingering downpour, but things dry up. And then by Friday afternoon, same story, even warmer, mid to upper 80s with a few isolated downpours and temperatures cooling down into the upper 60s, low 70s Saturday morning. Saturday starts out dry, and then you can see here some changes to the forecast. A couple of these downpours that could fire up by Saturday evening as well. So all 3 days, a chance for these to form. And again, biggest risk being heavy rainfall in a small area. So the latest update today for the Boilermaker forecast, still no major changes. You got at least a warm start, maybe a passing shower in the morning, but for now, a lot of those showers and storms hold off until the evening hours. Your 7-day forecast, we've got 80s on tap the next few days, pushing 90 by Sunday. It is going to be a very warm, very humid Boilermaker, one of the warmest we've had in quite a while, Gary. And make sure if you're running it, make sure you stay hydrated. Stop at those water stations. There's a lot of them out there, and make sure you have plenty of water before you enjoy the festivities after with the alcohol.
And we've had those conditions for a while, so a lot of people have been practicing in them.
Yes.
That's for sure. Eric, thanks, and be sure to like us on again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Libitor. Could our beautiful weather here during Boilermaker Week continue? Meteorologist Eric Gage over in the Weather Center. And Eric, boy, we've had a nice week so far.
Yeah, pretty nice. Temperatures have been pretty seasonable, if not warm. And today, another warm start. A look outside at those current conditions in the 60s here in the Mohawk Valley with sunshine moving in and fog trying its best to form right now as well. So pockets of fog in Binghamton, Hamilton, Oneonta, Cooperstown, Southern Valleys. A lot of fog, as you can see here in Oneonta, a live view outside. So the radar picking up on some low-level moisture. The dew point's close to the temperature. That means that clouds, or at least low-lying clouds like fog, can form right near the ground. We zoom out, excuse me, there are some showers and downpours out in the Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island area. Why am I pointing those out? Well, these are slow-moving storms, and they're producing flash flood warnings, and that's our risk today. Yes, it's going to be a mainly sunny day today with temperatures in the mid-80s, but with the potential for an isolated downpour, we can't rule those out this afternoon. So we'll closely track those, plus we'll have the latest rainfall trends heading into the end of the week and, of course, the all-important weekend straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks, and don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Well, this morning, global markets are...
Holland Farms Bakery and Deli.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Today we are tracking sunshine after some morning fog, and temperatures to start not too bad across the area, low to mid 60s. We're going to climb about 20 more degrees into the mid 80s by this afternoon. And although there's sunshine, there's potential for storms to form this afternoon, isolated storms. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. But for now, we're going to share our photo of the day, which is a pretty interesting photo I'd like to share with you guys. This was taken on July 7th in Liverpool, New York by Yvette. And you look outside right here and you think, well, looks like snow, isn't it? Christmas in July. It's actually hail, and in some places here in central New York, I should say close to the southern tier, Binghamton reported trace amounts of snow. Officially, it's a pretty interesting fact here that if you have enough hail, it gets reported as snow. So if you're wondering, can it snow in July? Well, this is the opportunity that can happen when you have strong thunderstorms producing a lot of hail like this. So if you have a photo like this you'd like to share with us, send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Gary?
Christmas in July.
Here we are with some snow, or hail snow.
Yeah. Eric, thanks. Nearly 1 million U.S. children.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Sunshine slowly moving in this morning after some foggy conditions, and clouds have exited out to the east. A live look at downtown Utica. I want to focus more on that cloud deck. You can kind of see out there in the distance a little more white toward the horizon and blue directly above us. That's where much of that cloud cover is pushing, well outside of our area. So we have plenty of sun to start your day today, temperatures in the 60s, and fog due to how close this number and this number are together. Dew point and temperature, the closer they are, the more humid the atmosphere is. Still, though, we take a look at the radar at this time. It is damp, but it is dry here locally. We zoom out, and we've got some active weather, thunderstorms, heavy downpours near the Boston area with flash flood warnings in effect. And that's the thing we're focusing on today. We're not going to see widespread storms, but any storm that does fire up today has the potential of producing flooding scenarios, or at least flash flood concerns. It's not a high chance of this happening, but if it does fire up, These are the risks right here, and you can see the biggest concern being that heavy rainfall, some embedded stronger wind gusts inside some of these cells, and typical severe weather risk. It's not a slam dunk type of event here. It's why it's not an alert day, but it's one of those days you want to make sure you're weather aware, have a way to receive weather warnings. For example, our Storm Tracker 2 app right here, great tool to have during the summertime, especially on days like today, where it's mainly sunny out. It wouldn't really appear that there could be some concerning storms, but either way, just on a day like today, have those tools available. So it's humid today, humid tomorrow, tropical Saturday and Sunday. It really kicks in, that humidity, as we head into the weekend. Of course, being Boilermaker weekend, that means that if you are heading out to the race, expect some warmer temperatures and very high humidity. Broad area of low pressure impacting the northeast over the next few days. That's going to influence our disorganized clusters of storms. They begin to organize a little more as we head into Saturday and Sunday with better time frames for these to fire up. But either way, we zoom in here in the Skycast. You can see that sunshine moving in today. Plenty of it. Still a few isolated downpours here and there as we head into the evening. Then tomorrow morning starts out dry, similar story, a little warmer. Highs in the mid to upper 80s. Then you can see here a few of these downpours firing up here and there. And then Saturday, an update is trending on the dry side to start, but by the afternoon, again, we got to closely watch these slow-moving storms. They could produce flooding concerns if they fall over the same area for a good amount of time. And of course, our daily Boilermaker preview check-in. Still no major changes to the forecast right now. Maybe a passing shower in the morning, but mostly dry. Storm risk looks to hold off until after the Boilermaker post-race party, which I think is the best news we could have for Boilermaker Sunday. Either way, if you want to start prepping for it right now, you want to do it when there's warm temperatures and high humidity like today, tomorrow, and Saturday, because it's going to be very warm and very humid for the race.
Yeah, a lot of those runners definitely like the cooler conditions.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. A new AI-driven school in California.
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And as we approach Boilermaker weekend, the heat is on, and you were mentioning it was going to stay on, right?
Yeah, thermostat turned all the way up, and it's going to be cranked by the time it's on Boilermaker Sunday. So we got heat, we got humidity, watching closely storm potential too. In fact, we're tracking today a few isolated downpours. Now notice here, a lot of the state reporting sunshine. The weather stations, not a single one reporting a rain shower, but those downpours are, of course, in between those weather stations. I'll show you here in a second. A live look at Oneonta. We've got some wispy clouds way up in the sky, as well as, of course, some of those puffy cumulus clouds out in the distance here. And here's what I mean by those isolated downpours. You know, I said that these are going to be looking like somewhat like popcorn here and there, popping up here and there. You can see a couple of them firing up. I want to focus more on this storm right here outside of Albany. Look at how it's barely moving. It's staying in the same area. And this is what we mean by flooding concerns. It's not widespread, but that small area is seeing a consistent heavy downpour. We're going to closely watch some of these as they develop throughout the area. A couple of them are moving through parts of the southern tier south of the Finger Lakes at this time. So again, for most of us, it's going to be a dry evening, but just make sure you're weather aware, as if a storm fires up, it could stay on your area for quite a while. Either way, we quiet down tonight, lows in the 70s and 60s. We are tracking some more heat as well as those storm chances the next few days. Details on that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. In Texas, the search for the missing goes on following last weekend's devastating flooding. The residents that did survive are also scrambling to find help. NBC's Jay Gray is visiting one organization working to offer relief to those in need.
Well, day 7 of the rescue, the recovery, the search here in the Texas Hill Country. The death toll again climbing. At least 120 have died as a result of the catastrophic flooding here. More than 150 still missing. And volunteers continuing to pour into this area to try and help those in need. Mercy Chefs, one of those groups that's doing just that, cooking meals for those who have been displaced, for all of the first responders who have gathered here. And it's people directly involved with this area that are volunteering to help out, including the father of some campers at Camp Mystic who were in the camp just a week before the flooding.
It's hard on them. It's very hard on them. I mean, they could have been there. It was hard on me when I thought about, oh gosh, that could have been my kids. So I'm just thankful that they're where they are and they were with us. And I'm thankful for everybody that got to get their kids home, and just praying for the people that their kids aren't coming home.
Yeah, the help really needed here. They serve between 4,000 and 5,000 meals a day here, already more than 14,000 since the flooding began. And look, they say they're going to be here for as long as necessary. This is an area, as we go through the search and recovery, that's going to need some help for a long time. That's the latest from here in Ingram, Texas. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
Locally, we have brand new information this noon on
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are tracking plenty of sunshine, a few isolated, slow-moving storms. Before we get to that forecast, though, just a quick heads up. In an accident reported in the Route 5 area. A look at our traffic tracker. We zoom in to just south of Kirkland along Route 5. The road is closed both ways between Route 233 and 5B Limberlost Road. So just a heads up, if you're heading in the Kirkland-Clark Mills area along Route 5, you'll have to find a detour since the road is closed at this time. Downtown Utica, we have pretty humid conditions out there right now. The clouds, you can see they're producing looks to be very humid conditions. Temperatures in the 70s, dew points in the upper 60s. So with the humidity levels today, there's still a risk for some pop-up showers and storms. For now, the risk isn't really that high, but it's non-zero. So make sure you're weather aware today. Biggest concern being flooding. As I just showed you a few minutes ago, some of these radar signatures showing those storms barely moving at all. Isolated pockets of New York getting a lot of heavy rain in a short period of time. So make sure you have ways to receive weather alerts. Of course, if you're underneath one of those thunderstorms, you can use our Storm Tracker 2 app, check the radar, as well as, of course, get notified of warnings. Humidity very high today, tomorrow, and on Saturday and Sunday, reaching tropical levels. And that's due to a surge of southern heat and humidity as we're locked in this pattern of unsettled weather. Lots of weak low pressure systems moving over us. And then here comes that heat as we head into Saturday, especially Sunday. And most importantly, what follows is that cold front that moves through Sunday afternoon. And the timing of it, of course, very important because Boilermaker takes place in the morning. And it's one of those things you don't want to have happen where you have thunderstorms during race time. So we look at the skycast today, sunshine, as I mentioned. Here comes a couple of these pop-up showers and thunderstorms. The weekend overnight and by tomorrow a dry start and the arrival of yet again more pop-up showers and thunderstorms. As we head into Saturday, a dry start yet again, patchy fog, sunshine, and then by the afternoon, closely watching how these storms fire up. You can see here they're barely moving, and inside them, heavy rainfall, inch and a half, 2 inches inside these clusters of storms. Meantime, other spots, not a drop of rain. So one of those tricky forecasts we deal with, especially in summertime with that high heat and humidity. So every day, update on the Boilermaker forecast. And still right now, we are tracking a very warm, very humid start, maybe a passing shower. Otherwise, the showers and storms are expected to arrive in the afternoon hours, which of course is great news as long as it holds off after the post-race party. But we head into tomorrow. That's when we get our first preview of the high-resolution data of the Boilermaker Sunday. That's when we'll have a very good idea of the timing. For now, the timing's kind of up in the air, just storm risk in the afternoon. Still, though, it's going to be very warm and very humid, Gary. Those who are running, make sure they stay hydrated.
Yeah, quite warm early in the morning, too.
Yes.
That's for sure. Eric, thanks. Well, a new round of south all the way up here to the northeast, spawning flash floods and causing more than 8,000 flight delays. It comes as the Southwest is still reeling from intense flooding from Texas to New Mexico. NBC's Aaron McLaughlin has more now from Newark.
Hey there, the weather has been relentless. Overnight, flights were disrupted in the New York area due to that storm, part of a broader pattern that we've been seeing play out all week at the nation's airports. More than 27,000 flight disruptions and 2,600 cancellations and counting. And it was another night of relentless rain from the south to the northeast. In North Carolina overnight, flash flooding hit the Durham area. Roads and cars submerged. Further up the East Coast, there was a torrential downpour late Tuesday in the nation's capital, sending water cascading through the streets and floods in nearby Virginia. Meanwhile, the Southwest is still reeling from intense flooding from Texas to Ruidoso, New Mexico, where officials say a Fort Bliss soldier and his spouse are in the hospital with serious injuries. Their children, a 7-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl, were killed in flash floods. Now, when it comes to all of this flooding and rain that we have been seeing, scientists are pointing to climate change. They say that because the Earth's atmosphere is warmer, it holds more water, triggering all this rainfall and wreaking havoc on the nation's airports. Back to you.
NBC's Aaron McLaughlin reporting from Newark International. Coming up after 10 years, it's back. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And if you've been outside, you know it is a humid day out there, but nothing compared to tomorrow, right?
Yeah, even into the weekend as well. That humidity keeps rising and rising, and so will the temperatures too. Yeah, let's take a look at those temperatures out there right now. We begin this afternoon in the 80s across much of the Mohawk Valley. Feels like temperature a little higher. And along with that too, we have a lot of puffy cumulus clouds out there early today, and that's going to be in the mix along with some sunshine as well as a few isolated downpours. Take a look at what's going on in the state right now. And we've got one of them passing in central Herkimer County, one in Madison County, a couple in Shenango County, and these are moving very slow. In fact, I want to keep focusing on what's going on outside of Albany right now. This might be under a flood warning pretty soon in that very small area. These storms moving slow, and along with that too, a lot of heavy rainfall inside that little band there. So this is what I meant today by slow-moving storms, biggest concern being heavy rainfall, flooding is concerns as well. But not all of us will see it. If you see plenty of sunshine all day long today, you're probably not going to drop a rainfall. But when those storms form, make sure you have a way to receive weather alerts. Download the Storm Tracker 2 app below me. Either way, tonight we quiet down. We have more chance of this to take place tomorrow and on Saturday. The details coming up. Gary?
Eric, thanks. We are staying on the story. Over a week ago,
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Temperatures continuing to climb across the area with sunshine, high humidity, and a few downpours. Take a look at downtown Utica outside right now. It is a sunny afternoon here in the city and a dry one so far. But in other spots, we're tracking a few additional downpours, and some of these are producing some pretty heavy rain showers across the board. Let's take a look at the current conditions outside right now. Again, we are in the 80s or 82 degree mark here in the Mohawk Valley, 82 in Rome, 65 degree dew point and climbing. So we're going to start to see this rise throughout the day today and for the next few days. And the radar, you can see here, it's dry in Utica. You had north, south, east, and west. You've got a few pop-up downpours, and pretty much all of New York State has at least one or two of them popping up here and there. I want to focus on what's going on outside of Albany right now. I know it's not in our area, but you take a look right here. This is the past 2 hours. Look at how much heavy rain this spot here on 22 has seen in the span of 11 o'clock to right now. And along with that too, maybe inch and a half of rainfall already. So inside these pockets of storms, there could be some pretty significant rainfall. So our biggest risk today is flooding. Second biggest risk, some gusty winds alongside some of these storms here. So a reminder that the chance of seeing one of these today, not very high, but if you do, these are the risks here. Once we enter the evening hours and overnight, we're going to see some of that activity quiet down. Still, though, it remains very humid today, tomorrow, and through Saturday and Sunday. So if you're wondering how Boilermaker weekend is going to shape up, well, it's looking to be very warm and very humid. And despite the rainfall we could be seeing the next couple of days, it's really not going to knock down on that humidity all too much. We have this broad area of low pressure and a consistent surge of south winds over the next few days, ushering in that humidity. Of course, the most important thing, however, this weekend, Boilermaker Sunday, how is it going to shape up? We're tracking that cold front moving in Sunday afternoon. The timing's still up in the air, but we're slowly getting a better idea of how things are shaping up for the day. So this afternoon, sunshine, a few isolated downpours and thunderstorms. Tonight, a few passing downpours, but quieting down by tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow afternoon, another chance for a few passing downpours, even warmer. Highs in the mid to upper 80s. Heat index likely in the 90s. Then Saturday starts out dry, slow-moving showers and storms firing up. Again, biggest risk on Saturday, flooding due to some of these slow-moving systems here. So again, the latest trend for the Boilermaker Sunday, we got clouds, maybe a passing shower in the morning, very warm, very humid, storms roll in the afternoon. We're going to fine-tune that timing of the approaching storms as early as tomorrow. Our high-resolution data comes in tomorrow morning, so News Channel 2 at sunrise. We'll have a first look at that preview. And either way, although the timing's still up in the air, what isn't up in the air is the heat and humidity. It'll be very warm, very humid. So
that's for sure. A lot of people definitely tuning into this forecast over the next 3 days. Eric, thanks. Russia launched 18 missiles and...
Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. All right, before we get to any of the heat and stuff that's going on, we have thunderstorms rolling through.
Yeah, not severe, but wow, they're producing some very heavy rainfall in a very small area. So let's take a look at what's going on here. It's across southern Oneida County. Some thunderstorms and, again, locally heavy rain. I would be surprised if there wasn't at least some ponding on the roads here, especially in areas like Paris and Clinton. This has been coming down really hard for about the past half an hour. Rainfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour. This is moving east, but it's a slow mover. There's not a lot of wind in the atmosphere to move things along. That's the lone storm in the area to watch. We actually, I should say there's another one in southern Hamilton County. We'll be keeping an eye on things throughout the course of this evening. It's looking very warm and very humid for Boilermaker. Temperatures are likely to be in the upper 70s for the start of the race, and during the race, it's just going to heat up from there. 83 degrees, the current temperature out of Griffis and Rome, where Griffis has avoided some of these storms. But again, we are tracking hot, humid weather, along with a few storm chances ahead. This pattern is going to just stick around through the weekend and early next week. No sign of it letting up. Again, a couple of scattered storms this evening. It remains very humid, and the heat builds throughout the week. We're going to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. On this Boilermaker Weekend Eve.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. I'm tracking a few scattered thunderstorms across central New York. There is one storm that's pretty potent in our area. Let's jump into the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, and it's this one across southern Oneida County. Now, to be clear, there's no severe thunderstorm warning with this, but I want folks in the path of this to get inside. I'm looking at some of the radar signatures here, and I have some suspicions that this could be producing winds perhaps over 50 to 60 miles an hour. So that could cause some issues if you're outdoors with this, and there's certainly a lot of thunder, lightning, and heavy rain too. Let me put a storm track on this and show you where it's going. It's a very slow mover, but it does look like it's going to cross into Herkimer County here within the next 20 to 30 minutes or so, at least the really strong part of this. Paris Station at 517, Litchfield 537, Paints Hollow 606. Again, it's a slow mover. It's producing some locally heavy rain. But again, I think there might be a wind component here too, and it is possible that this could be producing some localized wind damage as well. Now, the bigger picture shows this is really the one spot to watch, at least for the time being. We do have a couple of other storms here. There's a few in the southern part of Hamilton County, south of Lake Pleasant. That's moving out of our area. There's also one that's south of Syracuse, and that's another 1 hour away from impacting Madison County. There's not a lot of wind in the atmosphere with these, so in other words, they're slow movers, and it's primarily heavy rain that is going to be the issue. Reminder, you can get weather alerts on your phone by downloading our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. I think we're going to do this again tomorrow, an isolated storm. But again, it just takes one if you happen to be in that spot. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, localized flooding is possible. Like today, there's not a lot of wind in the atmosphere, so these storms don't move very much. Hot, humid for Boilermaker Sunday. Plan accordingly. Could be one of the warmest ones in several years. Live look at downtown Utica. The sun is back out, but you can see the storms in the distance. 83 degrees. Again, temperatures widely dependent on which areas have seen rain. Westmoreland 84, but Deansboro 68. You can tell where the rain is falling. Again, tracking this storm across southern Oneida County. A few more of these will be popping up here as we head into Friday as well as the weekend. Tonight, overnight lows drop down into the 60s. Again, tracking a few isolated storms as we head into tomorrow. Muggy tonight, low of 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny and isolated storm, 88 for the high. It's a hot stretch of weather ahead. 88 Saturday, 89 Sunday. Scattered storms. Again, for Boilermaker Sunday, I think it's dry during the race, but thunderstorms could be around in the afternoon. Widespread storms Monday, and then the heat is on Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to continue to follow the progress of that storm in southern Oneida County. We'll have an update in a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Bill. Well, it's another difficult and emotionless. The death toll after catastrophic flooding there climbs to 120, with more than 160 still missing. Search teams and heavy equipment continue to pour into that area, and so do the helpers, hundreds of volunteers in an area that desperately needs their help. Jay Gray has been on the ground in the hard-hit Kerr County all week and joins us with the latest.
It is a difficult, at times grisly and overwhelming task, working through thick mud and debris.
We are finding vehicles and RVs deep inside the debris that you can't even see from the outside. And so the challenges are there, they're real.
The loss, gut-wrenching. At least 120 dead, more than 160 still missing. And like those horrific numbers, the search effort is growing.
10 states have sent specially trained teams to our community, and 2 more states are en route. There's more than 2,100 responders on the ground here from state, local, and federal agencies working to reunite victims with families.
Fueling that effort, literally, Mercy Chefs.
We were on site with them Saturday, making sure they got fed. And from there, we've moved into feeding other volunteers and then the victims, the people of the county that have lost so much.
Serving 4,000 to 5,000 meals a day with the help of more than 100 local volunteers.
You know, we believe amazing things happen over a shared meal. Everybody here in the county has lost someone or knows someone who has lost. And they just want to help in any way they can.
A desire driving hundreds of helpers as the cleanup and recovery begins.
It feels heartbreaking, man. I just drop everything in my mind and I say, I want to help.
Heartbreak that, like the need for help, will surely last a long time here. Jay Gray, NBC News, Ingram, Texas.
A federal judge handed President Trump
A couple of thunderstorms across central New York. I'm watching this one specifically in the southern part of Herkimer County. We don't have any warnings to pass along, but this one's still packing a punch. Heavy rain, small hail, gusty winds. Could see 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts with this. It's in the southwestern part of Herkimer County over the town of Frankfort, and this is moving east. It's a very slow mover too, and it's producing some locally heavy rain. So this is moving into the Mohawk Valley. And again, even though this doesn't have a warning with this, still asking folks to get inside before this happens because it is producing some thunder and lightning and locally heavy rainfall. In fact, we can estimate rainfall rates with this between about 1 to 2 inches per hour. So again, coming down pretty hard. And in urban areas and areas with poor drainage, there could be some brief problems with water on the roads. But it doesn't last very long. These storms are not very big, and they're going to continue to move through central New York here over the next 1 to 2 hours. We are tracking a hot Boilermaker. I've got all the details on that coming up. Jason, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. Soon you'll be transporting to the sprawling green hills of Austria right from your seat at the Stanley Theater in Utica. The Sound of Music National Tour is not only teching here.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're tracking a couple of thunderstorms rolling through central New York. While there are no severe thunderstorm warnings to pass along, some of these are still producing some locally heavy rain. No flooding or flash flooding to report here, but it wouldn't surprise me if there were some localized issues, poor drainage areas for about the next half an hour, especially across southern Oneida County. That's the spot that has taken the brunt of the storm. And these are really slow movers. In fact, I want to show you how things have developed. This is a 1 hour radar loop. And the spot in particular that's had the heaviest rain is right over Paris. That spot, the storm's kind of just sat there. Thinking based off of the Doppler radar estimates, about an inch of rain has fallen within less than 1 hour. So again, some issues, some potting on roadways is possible. These storms continue to move east. They are moving into the Mohawk Valley. Some thunder, some lightning, weakening somewhat compared to earlier, but again, some locally heavy rain in the southern half of Herkimer County for about the next hour or so. And as we head throughout the course of this evening, these storms will wane. They're being powered by the heating of the sun and all that humidity in the air. And I think we'll see a couple more of these heading into tomorrow as well as the weekend. Reminder, you can always download our Storm Tracker 2 weather app to get weather information on the go. Tomorrow's severe weather risks similar to today, although I think there will be even less than what's out there now. Some localized flooding is possible along with gusty winds. We're keeping an eye on Boilermaker Sunday. The rain chances look to be in the afternoon. Could see some rumbles of thunder here. But again, the big story so far is it looks very warm and very humid as we head throughout the whole weekend. Live look at downtown Utica, 83 degrees. The storms have moved to the east. We've got a hot and humid week ahead. The next 7 days, the warmest that we've seen so far this summer. Average high temperatures in the upper 80s. The overnight lows only in the upper 60s to low 70s. So if you have the air conditioner, it's going to be getting a workout here throughout the rest of the week. Today, or I should say tonight, is the full buck moon. It rises at 9:08. Hopefully sky conditions will cooperate. We should be able to see this here. We did see the moon last night through some of the high clouds closer to midnight. Whitesboro, 83 degrees. Micah New Hartford, 77. Mohawk, 84 degrees. Cooperstown, 79. Skidivas with 79 degrees. A few isolated storms will be possible over the next couple of days. Tonight, it's muggy. We're looking at a low of 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, an isolated storm, 88. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. It's a hot weekend. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s both Saturday and Sunday. Again, very warm for Boilermaker. Thunderstorm chances primarily in the afternoons. Widespread storms Monday, 82, and then the heat is back. Looking at temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90 Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be right back.
For the first look at the forecast.
So we've been tracking some thunderstorms that moved through southern Oneida and southern Herkimer County. They've weakened quite a bit, but they produced some really heavy rainfall. There was an inch of rain that fell in South Utica in less than an hour. And these showers and rumbles of thunder are moving east, and again, they are weakening. We're going to continue to watch for a couple of pop-up storms over the next couple of days. Looking ahead to Boilermaker weekend, it is looking very warm Sunday morning. Temperatures will be in the 70s. We're going to warm up really fast, too. In fact, I think the heat index could be well into the 80s between about 9 to 10 a.m. when a lot of folks are finishing the race. 81 degrees, partly cloudy skies at Griffith and Rome. This place missed out on some of the heavier downpours that took place. We're tracking a continuation of heat and humidity, a hot next 7 days ahead. We're also keeping an eye on Boilermaker weekend. Some scattered storms this evening, otherwise just a very warm one. We're tracking the heat and the humidity. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. An Oneida County jury convicted a Yorkville man of 8 gun crimes.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're continuing to track a few scattered storms across central New York. For the most part, central New York, the majority of our area is missing out on this activity, but we are tracking a couple of storms that have produced pretty heavy rainfall across southern Oneida County. These have weakened quite a bit. No more thunder or lightning being detected with this spot. We had some heavy rain that's happened here, about an inch in the southern part of Oneida County. With some localized ponding on roadways. Another rumble of thunder is starting to cross into Madison County. There's not a lot of wind in the environment today. In fact, I want to show you how things have been moving over the past hours. This is a 1-hour radar loop. Things generally moving to the east, but that's not a very long distance for these storms to cover in 1 hour. That's less than 20 miles. So less than 20 miles an hour. Bigger picture shows a few more storms to the west, but again, these are few and far between. So as we head into this evening, many of us will be enjoying a pretty nice evening, a couple of spots getting wet. Reminder, you can always download our Storm Tracker 2 weather app and get weather on the go. We do run the risk for a few pop-up storms tomorrow. I think there will be even less of them compared to today. Heavy rainfall, gusty winds are possible. Live look at downtown Utica, 81 degrees. We're looking east, so we're looking into that storm that is weakening. We've got a hot stretch of weather ahead. Lots of heat, lots of humidity. The air conditioner coming in handy if you have it. It's going to be getting a workout over the next 7 days. Tonight's full moon, it comes up at 9:08. It's the full buck moon. That's the name of the moon for July. And hopefully we will have a good view of that tonight with skies turning mostly clear. Whitesboro 83, Mike and Hartford 77, Curtis 80 degrees, Devin Hartwick 77. Strolled front in our area, creating a few pop-up storms this afternoon. We'll see a few more of them over the next couple of days. Not a whole lot of change in the weather for the short term. It's hot and humid. We're very muggy tonight. We drop down into the mid-60s. Hazy, hot, and humid tomorrow. Temperatures in the upper 80s. An isolated storm is possible in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight lows in the upper 60s. Saturday looks like another hot day. Scattered storms are possible in the afternoon with high temperatures in the mid-80s. Muggy tonight, low of 65. Partly sunny tomorrow, hot, humid, 88, an isolated storm. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The Boilermaker looks like a very warm day. We start out in the low 70s and we climb into the upper 80s. Some thunderstorms are possible in the afternoon. Widespread storms Monday, but the heat really builds next week. We could be looking at temperatures near 90 by Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be right back.
You've run many of these. You don't look
20.
forward.
Well, 19. This is my 20th.
20? Well, happy 20th.
I know. I'm actually in the Masters division.
And anyway, still running strong. But
still
you're not
strong.
a big fan of these humid days.
Yeah. It's really tough because I know a lot of people are training. They want to hit certain times. I would even just take that off the table and just try and focus on finishing well and starting out slow because you don't want to run into an issue early on and push yourself a little too early, too quickly. Then you're going to be in big trouble. And of course, stay hydrated. I mean, everybody says that, but can't stress that enough when it gets really humid. Take the Chief's advice. Full moon out there tonight. Yeah, we've got the full buck moon. Beautiful night for that. We've got a warm stretch of weather ahead. It is going to be hot heading into the weekend, but we do have clear skies in place for that full buck moon. We did have a few thunderstorms today. They were isolated. We are expecting the same tomorrow. Some heavy rain is possible. Not expecting anything too strong. Live look at the airfield battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, it's quiet out there. Temperature of 72 tonight. Overnight lows will fall into the mid-60s. You might need the fan, maybe the air conditioner. It is going to be pretty muggy out there. We are tracking some hot and humid weather heading into the weekend. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. State police are investigating a deadly motorcycle.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We are taking a look at Boilermaker, and it is looking warm, and it's looking very humid. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s for the start. We are also looking at one of the warmest years in quite a while. So if you are running, take it easy. there could be a few thunderstorms as we head into Sunday afternoon. Live look at the Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. All is quiet across the region. Reminder, you can always download our Storm Tracker 2 weather app. Today, the app was going off when there was heavy rain nearby in southern Oneida County, along with lightning strikes. So if you're near any of that, if you're within a few miles, the app will automatically notify you. So you're not caught outside in a downpour, or you're not caught outside during thunder and lightning. Severe weather risk for tomorrow. Again, some gusty winds are possible, locally heavy rain, but it's expected to be small. We're only looking at a few isolated storms in the afternoon. Air conditioner is going to get a workout. If you have it, you're going to need it. We're looking at hot weather, hot, humid weather over the next several days, especially into the weekend. Reminder, we do have that full moon out there tonight. Sky conditions look clear, so you should be able to see that. Tomorrow, we're under the same weather pattern as today. We've got a stalled front in place, and that could promote an isolated shower. It's going to be warm and very humid here. Tonight, we're down into the mid-60s. We'll see some patchy fog early tomorrow. That should give way to sunshine. A hot and humid day. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s. It will feel like 90 degrees, especially in the lower elevations. Again, an isolated thunderstorm is possible. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy skies, a very warm night. Overnight lows in the upper 60s. And then Saturday features pop-up showers and storms in the afternoon. High temperatures climb into the low to mid 80s. Tonight, muggy, 65. Tomorrow, hot, humid, partly sunny. Isolated storm, 88 for the high, feeling like low 90s with the humidity. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecasts. Hot Saturday, Sunday. Pop-up thunderstorms Saturday afternoon. Pop-up storms Sunday afternoon. Temperatures in the upper 80s. Widespread storms Monday. We get a bit of a reprieve from the heat, but it's very short. Back to hot weather Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with highs near 90. We'll be right back.
About to run his 20th Boilermaker.
Yeah.
And these hot, humid ones are not one that are exciting.
Well, it's just hard because you can't push yourself as much as you'd like, at least early in the race. If you push too quickly, you can run into trouble pretty quickly. So staying hydrated is always key, and don't go out too quickly.
Yeah, stay on your pace.
Yes, and yeah, be realistic too. You might not be running your PR this year.
Don't look for that.
But again, hopefully things change. I unfortunately don't think the humidity is going to back off. By the way, this behind us.
Great picture of the full moon tonight.
Full moon, full buck moon. It's out. It's beautiful. Hope you get a chance to see it. We've got a humidity in store, along with the chance for a few thunderstorms tomorrow. Now, we did see a few of them today. A couple of them produced some locally heavy rain across southern Oneida and southern Herkimer counties. Could see an isolated storm tomorrow, too, but I don't think the risk is all that high. Live look at the Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's pretty quiet out there. It's warm, 70 degrees. Dew point of 66. It's humid. It's going to stay that way over the next several days. We'll be close to 90 degrees tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Probably a degree or two shy, but it's going to feel like it with the humidity. Tonight, good night to run the fan, maybe the air conditioner. Overnight lows drop down into the mid-60s. We're looking at a very warm weekend ahead. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. State police are investigating a deadly motorcycle.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're looking ahead to the weekend. Boilermaker looks hot and humid. Remember, the race starts at 8 a.m. and we're already looking at temperatures in the mid-70s, so it's very warm and very humid. That looks like it's going to be one of the warmest Boilermakers in years here. It does look dry. There could be a few thunderstorms later in the day. We'll have to keep an eye on those. Live look at the Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Pretty quiet. Just a warm night across the region. Reminder, you can get weather information by downloading our weather app. Today, we had a couple of storms roll through, and if you were nearby those storms, you would be getting notifications on lightning, if lightning was detected nearby, along with heavy rainfall. So even if it's not as severe warning. It's still, the app is still going to send you some information if something's nearby that's going to impact your day. Weather risk tomorrow, again, it's not super high. We're talking about locally heavy rain, but the risk for storms is pretty isolated. I think they'll be even less than what we saw today. The air conditioner, well, it's going to get a workout. We're looking at a stretch of hot and humid weather. Most days we're in the upper 80s. The overnight lows don't cool off either. Many nights will be in the upper 60s to low 70s. Nice view of the full moon tonight. That'll be out there through early tomorrow morning. Radar and satellite image. Quiet weather for now, but again, with a very weak front nearby that could spark off a couple of showers or storms in the afternoon time. Tonight, overnight lows drop down into the upper 60s. Partly sunny skies tomorrow. Some patchy fog early in the day. It gives way to sunshine. It's hot and humid, and again, there is the risk of an isolated storm. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Warm tomorrow night. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 60s. Saturday starts out pretty quiet. Could see some pop-up storms in the afternoon. Temperatures climb into the mid-80s. Tonight, muggy, low of 65. Tomorrow, hazy, hot, and humid. An isolated storm, 88 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. A hot weekend, temperatures in the upper 80s. The risk for thunderstorms in the afternoon, both Saturday and Sunday. Widespread storms Monday, 82. The heat ramps up again with highs near 90 Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be right back.